Done. So welcome everyone. We have one of our usual but preferred guests, RJ Assaly from Toggle. If you guys don't know what Toggle is, you're missing out. You have free access to this amazing platform, which combines fundamental analysis, technical analysis with artificial intelligence. That's free for everyone on PipTrade. And now we have a big announcement from Toggle here. And RJ, we would love to see what you have.
Yeah, well, thanks, Juan, as always for the kind words. You know, we've been working together for a while now, and you know, always great to do these sessions with all the peep trading folks. And you know, some of you probably already have accounts and have played around. Some of you may not yet, but Toggle is a system that grew out of professional money management. All of us are generally either startup people or hedge fund people or both. And we were really frustrated as discretionary investors with the tools that existed to help sort of manage this vast universe of data that's moving around, and actually how that data impacts asset prices. At the same time, you know, similarly very frustrated with the tools to help manage risks in portfolio, and think about, you know, not just what do I buy or what do I sell, but really helping to manage the life cycle of a trade, right? Even if you think, hey, you know, airlines are going up, which airline do you buy? As you know, they move, as prices move, do you take money off the table? Do you add to your positions as they drop? And sort of thinking about some of that life cycle. And so Toggle was a tool built in mind for all of those things. And you know, as Juan mentioned, we have a very exciting announcement, which is we just launched something called Toggle Copilot, which is a free tool for retail investors. You guys, as part of Peep Trade, you can sign up through Copilot, and I'll show you how to do that. You can then email me, and we will upgrade you guys to the pro account, so you'll have actually the fuller suite. But the cool thing is that Copilot will actually remain free for you guys in perpetuity. So even after the Peep Trading competitions, you'll be able to come in, connect portfolios, get portfolio and everything, you know, on an ongoing basis, no problem. So so with that, let me share my screen. Juan, I think I might need to be enabled.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
No problem. So I'll give you guys a quick run through of Toggle Pro, and then show you how you can sign up for an account, and then, you know, how you can request an upgrade to the Pro version. Excellent. So Toggle, you know, quite simply, it's as Juan said, it's an AI that's sort of watching your back, right? It's watching everything that happens in the world, and actually takes all of this data. You can think of it sort of like a funnel. It's sifting through all of this data to tell you, hey, you know, for the names in your portfolio, or for, you know, anything you're looking at, here's what you need to be looking at, and here's why. So something we had a couple of days ago was a pattern in Tesla, right? This is entirely machine generated. It's looking at millions of time series every night across 9,000 assets. And as Juan said, you know, macroeconomics, technical analysis, fundamentals, valuation, positioning, right? Seasonality, right? All of these different dimensions to help you, the end investor, think about, okay, I've been thinking about this name, or I hold this name in my portfolio. How do I think about how these data changes have actually historically impacted the things I care about? And, you know, what might be the trajectory of these names from here? So actually 2 days ago, the system wrote this article, hey, there's consensus that Tesla fundamentals are deteriorating, but actually, you know, counter to that fact, 85% of the time this led to a rally in Tesla's price. And sure enough, yesterday we obviously saw Tesla rally and become the you know, highest market cap auto manufacturer beating Toyota, even though they've never had a profitable year. So sort of an interesting context there. But the system does several things for you. It will look at, what's the quality of this pattern, right? Oh, it scores 6 out of 8 stars, but what does that really matter? What does that really mean? Has it worked across business cycles? Has it occurred frequently in the past? How smooth is the P&L? Is it an attractive trade from the profitability potential, having high reward potential with generally low risk in terms of looking at the asymmetry of returns. But the system will first tell you, where might Tesla go from here? And it said, hey, generally when you've seen analyst expectations like this, Tesla has rallied over a 1-month horizon, with the vertical height being confidence intervals around this, the pink line being the median path, where it'll say, look, sort of down 1% over 1 month versus up 16% as the sort of confidence intervals, with generally a median path of up 8%. So, generally an attractive profile. It'll tell you, what is this based off of? This is based off of the distribution of analysts that think that sales is going to grow. And in fact, actually 70% of analysts are revising their sales estimates downward, right? And that's what this is explaining to you. And with all of these things, you can hover over them to get a bit more detail as to what's actually happening under the hood. The system automatically optimizes for you the horizon. So it'll look at 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, and tell you, hey, actually, the sort of most attractive profile based off of, the most consistent response in looking at the change in distribution is actually the 1 month horizon. And then it walks you through, when has this happened before, right? So actually, we saw this confluence of analyst revisions in late 2011, in 2014, in 2015, and then sort of, once a year since, if you will, sort of, relatively frequently since. And those prior periods, as highlighted in the gray bars, are what's being used to generate, what does that response function look like? We're then actually doing a full in-sample, out-of-sample backtest, showing you, how does that distribution shift? Each time you would have predicted Tesla's returns, what were they actually in hindsight? When you would have predicted something, what actually resulted? And then this is, if you were to trade only on this pattern, what would that P&L chart have looked like over time? And going back to the different themes, whether it's technical analysis, fundamentals, valuation, and we can click into something like valuation, the framework remains the same, and all of those articles remain the same and sort of explained in that same way, where it'll first walk you through, how robust is this pattern? What does that pattern typically look like? What stars has it sort of checked off on that quality checklist? When has it happened in the past? For this name, really only 2004 has the forward B been as high as it currently is, 2004, and then a bit in the middle of last year, and then doing that same back test and everything else. And so this is something you guys have access to, and I know sort of the world is your oyster in the beef trade competitions, and so this is something where you can really start to slice and dice the world. Whether you say, hey, I'm interested in the industrials sector, and you can start to filter by different attributes. Maybe you only want U.S. names in the industrial sector, or you can take things out and say, actually, I only want to look at commodities. And so I want to see, has the system generated anything interesting in commodities, and obviously look through different patterns that way. Or let's say you have a specific stock in mind, like Microsoft, right? When was the last thing the system generated anything interesting for Microsoft, and what did that look like? and we've had a couple of bearish patterns bullish patterns in Microsoft based off of bearish analyst expectations, which have sort of come true as Microsoft's continued to rally. Everyone doesn't, no one likes to feel left out, and so there's a hot topic portion where you can see, what have the most popular things been. Gold, obviously, everyone, highly attuned to what's happening with gold of late. But really giving you this 360-degree view and allowing you to explore the world of what has the system found. Your basic feed is actually driven by your settings. And so you can come in and set a watch list of things that are of interest to you. The portfolio portion, unfortunately, it doesn't connect with Tradier, but you can connect portfolios via other platforms of Plaid, or if you have an interactive brokers platform. And this is the portion that's actually, free for you in perpetuity, allowing you to get, really good portfolio analytics and understanding around what might be driving my portfolio and where might I need caution, or maybe where should I lengthen things. So you'll see it's organized by holding, giving you, hey, you own a lot of XLE, or hey, you own a little bit less of Rockwell, but summarizing, analyst revisions are bearish for S&P Energy, which makes sense. You can click in and get, go into the same sort of analysis. But something like Rockwell is more of an interesting case where you have sort of mixed perspective, right? You have the inflationary backdrop being supportive of Rockwell historically. You have really strong momentum in Rockwell, but its valuations are a little bit stretched. And it starts to allow you to look more in a 360-degree view at individual holdings, telling you, hey, where might I need to take caution, or maybe where should I lengthen things, like, hey, Monster Beverage, which I own a tiny portion of, everything supportive, technical analysis, momentum, entry points, all of those things are supportive of Monster Beverage. Maybe I should lengthen my positions there. The positions table gives you, sort of summary of your P&L and any number of things like that, which you can get everywhere else. But the overview is really intended to give you this 360-degree view. And then the right-hand side is sort of summarizing for you, hey, what are the themes that are active in your portfolio right now? Hey, momentum seems to possibly be driving future price action. Analyst revisions might be driving things. Entry points, less so, but really starting to give you that 360-degree view. And over time, we'll be adding in even more alerts like, hey, your diversification is bad, or you need to roll options, or even doing things as complicated as, hey, you have event risks to Brexit, because in Brexit, it's likely that GBP is going to drop and the FTSE is going to drop. And if both of those two things happen, here's how your positions typically would have done through time. And so, really thinking about how do you make risk management active, interactive, and more fun, as opposed to now where most people don't have any tools, and even institutional investors have sort of really boring tools that they manage things on these very large spreadsheets. And on that, apologies, I'm trying to get to so you guys can actually sign up by going to the Toggle AI website. There's a little sign up bar where you can say, hey, RJ plus Peep Trade at toggle.ai. Yes, I want to sign up, set my username, password. As I go in, it'll allow me to do three things. It'll allow me to set my base currency, so MXN, USD, whatever it might be, as the currency you like to look at your portfolio in. Connect a portfolio if you have one or are interested to connect. You can obviously skip that, and then set a watch list. The final piece of Toggle Pro, and as I said, you guys can all come in, sign up for free here, and I'm happy to enable you guys are all entitled to the Toggle Pro as part of Peep Trade, so you can just email me and I'll make sure your account settings are set the right way once you've created an account. Which is the final piece is analytics, where you can start to do things like hey, I'm interested in looking at Microsoft. We've obviously had a big rally like this, and when has that happened in the past? So I can click, and much as I would crop an image, say, hey, when have we seen a rally like this in Microsoft before, and what typically happens after? And we've seen actually, we saw it in the late 2000s, a bunch in the late 90s, when obviously we were in the midst of the sort of dot-com bubble. But not really since. And typically, when you've seen a big up move like that in Microsoft, up 50% in in sort of 2-3 months, Microsoft actually typically, while it's sort of symmetric in terms of the confidence intervals, the median path is sort of sideways to slightly down. But the cool thing here is that you can actually start to layer in other things. You could say, you know what, I'm interested in looking at not just Microsoft, but I want to know when Microsoft's been up, and what has IBM been doing during that same period, and say, hey, I want to know when what happens with Microsoft when both Microsoft and IBM are behaving this way, but IBM only up 25%. And obviously that dropped out a couple of periods, but they're generally relatively contemporaneous. We could do something instead like the S&P tech sector or XLK, where we might say, hey, I want to know when Microsoft's been up and the entire tech sector has been up like this as well. And what has typically happened then, and does that change things? And we'll see actually, with given the history of XLK back to sort of 2000, really we only have the financial crisis to sample from, and so during that period Microsoft was down in the sort of short-term 1 month period, and then sort of rose over the next few months after that. I know I've done a bit of a whirlwind through everything, so happy to take any questions and sort of explain any pieces that might not have been clear.
Well, first of all, RJ, thanks so much for being so kind with us. I think this is something that adds up to the education that we're trying to provide, and also it's an awesome tool. So, and I'm not getting paid by these guys. Zero. I think I'm not paying you either, right?
No. I think we're really excited, in on several dimensions. One of the things we like to say is the sort of tagline: invest rationally, not rashly. And I think, whether it's a professional investor or a retail investor, so many people have access to data, but it's often too hard to use, right? You're downloading data from Yahoo Finance or Bloomberg or FinViz or Koifin or whatever it is into Excel, into Python, and it's really manual. It's not scalable, and it's sort of hard to keep up to date. And we think that tools like this can allow everyone to use data, but in an approachable and scalable way, where it's still not asking you to do all of the analysis, but it's sort of doing it for you. We sort of liken it to Alexa helps us check the weather and all of these things, but in finance there are very few sort of assistants that help you in any way, right? It's all still sort of, here, I don't know, you figure it out, do it yourself. And we think much like self-driving cars have we've sort of proven that man-machine combination is better than machine alone or man alone at this point, or like MRIs and the medical field is seeing that diagnoses are much more accurate with a combination of machine learning and human intervention, as opposed to just machines or just humans. Why can't finance be the same, right? Why can't investing and portfolio management be the same, where these tools are meant to help you, but you're still holding the steering wheel?
Well, very kind from Toggle to give these to the PeepTrade users, and we're very excited for the news, and I'm very grateful. And if you are not using it, you're probably missing out. And if you're not in PeepTrade, you're also missing out. And if you're not, so thanks so much, RJ. I'm going to take any questions.
Yeah, it looks like we have one question, which is what basic knowledge do you need? So, um, we've tried to simplify things as much as possible so that they're approachable. We're actually the articles, as you use them, you'll notice next week we'll have a slightly different version because we're always trying to simplify and better explain. And so I would say if anything doesn't make sense, always let us know. Hit the support button, email me, literally anything, right? Because we're always trying to make things as easy and intuitive to understand as possible. I think anyone with a basic understanding of what are some assets I care about, what are different asset classes, what are sort of themes and things like that, I think you can figure it out. We really try and make it as approachable and accessible as possible, but I can be wrong, which is why if you have any problems, please just email me.
Any other questions here? I know it was kind of a half an hour conversation, and it's probably what that was
Yeah,
there,
great question. So let me share my screen again. So right here, there's this help button. If you click the help button, it'll actually open a whole set of user guides. Although I'm logged into here, so it will open this sort of this help center where there are guides for Copilot, there are guides for Toggle Pro, there's an FAQ to explain different things, and so hopefully you can find the information you need there. But if not, we can certainly email me and we'll figure out what we need to add or what we need to better explain.
very cool. So I really think you're on top of this sector, which is huge in the US, 50 million plus retail investments, and it's I think it's a game changer what you guys are doing, and you might be killing it really soon.
Well, we certainly hope so, but we're always building, we're always trying to add more stuff, and so we're excited, and we're excited for you guys to use it. And as I said, we love feedback, good or bad. The only way we get better is with feedback, and so love for you guys to play around with it. Hopefully it makes you gets you closer to winning the peep trade competitions and helps with some of your analysis and hopefully over time we can continue to improve it and continue to add stuff to it that helps you guys invest.
Thank you very much. I have a question. How many people are working in Toggle right now?
There are 8 of us.
Yeah, I think you'll have a lot more.
So Alejandro, yeah. So if you have signed up but only have
she's using the Pro, maybe?
or yeah, she's using Copilot. So just email me and I'll upgrade your accounts. So the sign up will automatically take you into Copilot, and then I can upgrade everyone from there on the Peep Trade side.
Awesome. So I'll be making that announcement tomorrow.
Perfect.
So good to go, and hope you have a lot of emails.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
At the end, this is how it works, right? You put something out there and start testing it.
Fingers crossed.
We'll make sure everyone knows about it, and thanks so much again. In the name of all that people using Peep Trade to have this tool for free. It's I don't know. It's just great. It's
well, we're excited to help. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Alejandra, yeah, please email me. Anyone else, feel free to email. And I said both with, hey, my account doesn't look right, I need an upgrade, to, hey, I'm reading this Tesla article, I have no idea what it says, can you explain it to me? Happy to help with any and all things. So
thank you very much, RJ. We will be trying to tell everyone amazing this is, and we only promote, or we only partner with things that we think they're useful, they're innovative, and they solve a problem. It's not and I think you guys do the same, right? If we were selling something like Forex,
yeah.
I don't think this partnership would work.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Juan.
Great having you again. And everyone here, now you have an artificial intelligence tool to enhance your portfolio. It could be Peep Trade one or your real one. And great. So
awesome.
thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.